Novak Djokovic has spent 2 decades rewriting the record books, and yet the world still hasn't figured him out. Now there's a documentary that tries to close that gap. Novak Djokovic, The Wolf in Winter, premiering August 20th exclusively on Amazon Prime Video. I sat down with him to talk about it.
You didn't have to do this. You chose to do this. Why?
It was time for me to tell the story of my journey, trials and tribulations as a tennis player, but also as Novak Djokovic, the person off the court that maybe people don't know much about, particularly the ones that don't necessarily follow tennis. And, I hope that we'll be able to connect with these people, that they will be able to resonate with some of the universal values that are hopefully transmitted in this movie, like, resilience, perseverance, and family, belief in yourself when others don't.
You make yourself vulnerable, in a sense, every time you take the tennis court. This is a different kind of vulnerability. What was this experience like for you?
It was a challenging experience, to be honest, but it was also enjoyable. It's a multi-year project. It took quite a bit of time. So I'm very thankful to Amazon and Patience, to Jason as well, who was the director of The Last Dance, one of the obviously best sports documentary ever. He has a great way and experience of telling a story on the athlete, on a personal side.
You have a favorite scene?
Obviously the scenes with my family, with my kids, and also bringing the Wimbledon trophy, the first Wimbledon trophy, to my late tennis mother, Jelena Gencic, back in 2011. It was a very emotional moment.
The Last Dance really resonated with you. And obviously you were lucky enough to have the director of that film. What was it about the Michael Jordan documentary that spoke to you?
I mean, he's one of my sporting idols, as for many people, but I didn't know much about, the way, what he was going through, with adversity and criticism and the judgment, because when you're at the top, people always try to, find a flaw and shoot bullets at you, and the resilience, that strength, the inner strength, the mental strength to persevere and to still continue building his legacy and greatness is something that really stuck with me.
One parallel that I picked up on is both of you and Michael Jordan have this ability to sort of find motivation from the macro, the big picture, but also from very specific instances. Michael Jordan, I took that personally when he wore a tan shirt. Did you see that as well?
Yeah, I actually, I resonated with one thing. It was really interesting to me. He said even if the entire arena was cheering his name and supporting him, he would find one guy in the stands, and because that would fire him up. So that's kind of similar
that reminds me of someone else
my
I
story,
know.
Right? And you have to lock in, and you go into that killer instinct mode, and nothing else exists but you winning the battle.
I'm going to botch the pronunciation on this, forgive me, but define inat.
Inat, yeah, you pronounce it well. Inat is that force of stubbornness that we as Serbians proudly use when we feel like everyone is against us, when everyone is saying you can't make something, you can't achieve something, and you're not good enough. Particularly in 90s, when we had several wars and embargo and sanctions, they used that force, to prove everybody wrong. And that builds mental strength, fortitude, resilience, perseverance, and also a great sense of motivation in life.
And you embody that on a tennis court.
I think I do.
There was a line, I want to make sure I get this right, so I'm going to read from this paper, but it really struck me. The feeling of not being good enough has been with me a very long time.
Yeah.
It's still with me.
Yeah.
Source that and help make sense of that with all you've achieved.
I mean, we all have our doubts, I mean, I am my own biggest doubter, competitor, rival. It was always like that. That inner battle is the most important one, the one that you have to overcome, the one that you have to win before you win anything externally. So it's still there, whether it's, the tennis court or outside. I always have the feeling of like, I need to do more, I need to be more, etc. It's not an ideal state of mind, and it's not a permanent state of mind that I have. It just comes and goes, but it is something that I'm openly willing to share and talk about, and I think it's important because it's part of the process of healing and evolving.
Adjacent to Inat, you're the star, but I thought Serbia played a very strong supporting role in this film. Was part of your motivation introducing your country to the world?
Absolutely. I mean, I always try to be a great ambassador of our country. I've been grateful to be able to carry the flag of my country in Olympic Games or Davis Cup or in any tournament I go. I don't only represent myself, but also Serbia. And also being a kid of several wars in 90s and facing a lot of adversity and difficult moments, not just myself, my family, but we as a whole, I felt that there was a lot of injustice done to my country and to my people. So I try through sport, always through positive values and good values to present the good side of our country that maybe not often in the world media has been presented and showcased.
I feel like every time your wife spoke, wisdom proceeded. One of her lines was, tennis is Novak's nest, his safe spot.
It is.
You agree with that?
I agree with that. I mean, since the young age, because of the circumstances that I had in my life, I've seen tennis as a safe nest, as a place where I feel comfortable, environment where I can express myself in good and bad way. And it's kind of a school of life, really. That's the way I see it.
You told me that one of your motivations for continuing to play is performing in front of your kids where they can appreciate you and what you've achieved. Have your kids seen the film? What'd they make of it?
They've seen different versions of it. And it was different versions where they were kind of measuring who has more time in the film, brother, sister, competitive spirit. But it's true. I mean, for them to be obviously part of the film, but the integral part of my career, and particularly the last, 10, 12 years, and for them to be able to be old enough to understand what is going on and what their father is doing, and for them to support as loud as they're doing during Wimbledon particularly is quite outstanding.
I was told you were very hands-on. You saw a lot of cuts. You're a very good tennis player. How do you fare as a documentary overseer?
I'm biased and I'm subjective because it's a story about me and my life. So it's very hard for me to be objective. Speaking about not good enough or not having done enough, I don't think that I will be 100% always happy with the film, because I always feel like there's something more to do. But that's me. I'm actually more excited about hearing the feedback of all the other people, particularly the ones that don't necessarily know me or they're not connected to me in any sense.
You watch yourself play a match. Maybe you pick up a few things. Much different seeing your life told.
Yeah.
Soup to nuts. What was this experience like for you?
It's quite intense. There's a lot of things happening. It's quite a roller coaster ride, at least for me, because I'm emotionally more connected to that story. And hopefully this is going to be triggering a kind of an appetite of the viewers for more. So I'm hoping that this is just the beginning and not the end. I think we should all be proud of what was achieved, and hopefully people will appreciate it.
This was a win for you.
I sincerely hope so and think so, yeah.
Novak Djokovic, The Wolf in Winter, premieres August 20th on Amazon Prime Video.